On to the 2020 wrap up. Do you know how we started this year? In December, the House voted to impeach motherfucking Donald Trump.
His or her name is called, will stand in his or her place and vote guilty or not guilty as required by Rule 23.
This was the beginning of February when the Senate.
Article 1, Section 3, Clause 6 of the Constitution.
And don't forget, we almost went to war with Iran. That happened at the very beginning of the year. We still might go to war with Iran before this is all said and done. We've still got 20 fucking days of Donald Trump. And it should be wild. And who knows? He is going to ramp up the he is already ramped up the crazy. The further we've gotten away from the election. Imagine what it's going to be like a week from now. You've got the Electoral College vote on the 6th. You've got the Georgia runoff for the Senate on the 5th. So next week is going to be fucking crazy. And I can imagine that Trump will try to outdo himself after it's like completely sealed. Vote certified.
Regarding the vote required for conviction on impeachment, provides that no person shall be convicted without the concurrence of 2/3 of the members.
There has been reports that people from the foreign policy team of Biden have been like, hold on, please, please.
The respondent, Donald John Trump, guilty or not guilty? A roll call vote is required. The clerk will call the roll.
Mr. Alexander.
But we're heading into the roaring 20s.
Not guilty. Ms. Baldwin. Ms. Baldwin, guilty. Mr. Barrasso. Mr. Barrasso.
So now just think about how many Republicans,
Mr. Bennett.
the few, the handful,
Guilty. Mrs. Blackburn.
that have talked about
Mrs. Blackburn.
how Trump has gone
Not
too far
guilty.
with his electionship.
Mr. Blumenthal.
I'm especially looking at you, Ben Sass.
Guilty. Mr. Blunt. Mr. Blunt, not guilty.
Susan Collins saying it's gone too far.
Mr. Booker, guilty.
Where was your votes?
Mr. Bozeman, not guilty. Mr. Braun,
This was the opportunity to hold the motherfucker accountable.
not guilty.
So that all these shenanigans, all the assault on democracy that we've seen,
Guilty. Mr. Burr.
didn't actually take place.
Mr. Burr, not guilty. Ms. Cantwell.
But no, Mitch McConnell, you got to put up with this bullshit next week.
Mrs.
You got to put up with Josh Hawley
Not
stepping out of line next week because you didn't impeach the motherfucker when you should have.
Guilty. Mr. Carper.
I'm sorry, not impeach, convict him
Carper, guilty.
and remove him from office, which is the Senate's
Mr. Casey, guilty.
part in the impeachment
Mr.
trial.
Cassidy. Mr. Cassidy, not guilty. Ms. Collins. Ms. Collins,
Ms. Collins,
not guilty.
not guilty.
Mr. Coons, guilty.
She said here that she thought that Trump learned his lesson.
Not guilty. Ms. Cortez Masto. Ms. Cortez Masto,
But yet she's seen what he did after the election. She spoke up.
Cotton, not guilty. Mr. Kramer. Mr. Kramer, not guilty. Mr. Crapo. Mr. Crapo, not.
So that's what happened. We had Mitt Romney, one lone Republican vote on one count of impeachment. Then next month, this would have been March 12th. Rudy Gobert.
Part about this just a few days ago.
This was the tipping point. Now, we started getting news all through December of last year that something was going on in China. It was Christmas when they came out and admitted that it was a virus. Then we knew all through January and February that it was coming. This was in March. And this is the tipping point, because I think it was just a few days after this is when we actually locked everything down for real. The only time we did it during the pandemic.
Gobert joked about the coronavirus during a press conference. He wiped his hands on a bunch of mics on his way out after saying he wasn't worried about the virus. And then, look what happened. Yeah. By now, the coronavirus is having an impact on pretty much everything.
So that was the moment I look back on from 2020 in which the coronavirus became real. I don't think he knew he was sick at the time. I don't really I'm not saying oh, look at this jackass. It's okay to have still been ignorant at this point in time. March 5th, March 12th. That's totally understandable to still have ignorance to the severity of the situation. But he did test positive just a couple of days after he pulled that stunt. So this was May 29th. So this happened on May 26th was the day that the Minneapolis Police Department killed George Floyd.
Alright, what's your name?
So this was officer body camera footage that was released a couple of days later.
Good. Did you guys take out of the car? Cigarettes? You got your personal items?
Now, by the way, the woman who filmed this
Whose car is this?
was named the Internet Person of the Year.
Okay.
We're watching it from one of the cops' body cameras. With the young lady who actually filmed the cop with his knee on George Floyd's neck. And they really did redact this. Fucking cops always try to take out audio.
Ass, right? Let's go straight, man. It's tight here.
Oh, this is after.
You guys good? Oh.
This is after they
I don't know. I'm just waiting for 3
choked him to death. Sorry, I got the shittiest video I possibly could. I tried to get something from a different angle, something more interesting. Well, this year's End in Review.
Everything in life is a negotiation.
The rest of it's kind of funny, though. This is when we started being on
Trump dies of COVID watch.
when Trump left the White House to go to Walter Reed Hospital. Doing his best. People have speculated that he might still be taking steroids. Yeah, the year was kind of heavy up until we got to after the election, and then it's just been kind of, you know,
Very, very strong case.
sad and
I
laughable.
know you won't accept it because of your hateful biases, but let's see if you can try thinking rationally.
This was the fantastic press conference in front of Four Seasons Total Landscaping that Rudy Giuliani gave us that featured a registered sex offender.
The poll?
The poll!
Because they don't decide the election. The call for Joe Biden isn't what was it called by? Oh my goodness, all the networks. Wow. All the networks. Do you think
We
we're
have to forget
stupid?
about the law.
You think we're fools? Judges don't count. All the networks thought Biden was going to win by 10%.
I don't even...
What happened? Come on, don't.
This asshole has given so many stupid press conferences. I don't think this is the press conference where he said, "Do you think we're stupid? Do you think we're fools?" And I grabbed that audio from. This is a different press conference where Rudy made a fool of himself. Don't forget, like, I didn't even include run it down because I didn't want the end of the show to just be all fucking election shit. Even though, like, hey, it's a political show, so.
Don't be ridiculous. Networks don't get to decide elections. Courts do.
Hey, well, guess what the courts decided, Rudy? Any word on how Rudy is doing? The fart hurt? Yeah, I didn't even include that one. I believe this was the same hearing, though. I believe you guys all remember a certain Melissa Carone.
Voter fraud claims in front of Michigan officials. Melissa Carone was even lampooned on Saturday Night Live. So how does she feel about all the jokes? She spoke with our Stephen Fabian in this exclusive interview.
It has been a wild week for President Trump's star witness, Melissa Carone. From her train wreck testimony.
Do you even know the answer to that?
No, I guess I'm trying to get to the bottom of this here.
Zero. There's zero.
To being spoofed on SNL.
I personally saw hundreds, if not thousands, of dead people vote.
Now the 33-year-old IT worker is speaking exclusively with Inside Edition. What did you think of the portrayal of yourself on SNL?
I loved it. I think she did a great job. I think
she did.
Funny. She looked just like me.
There's a lot of people who are saying some not so nice things about you, speculating that you may have been drinking at the hearing.
I signed something saying that if I'm wrong, I can go to prison.
Did you sign something?
I wasn't drunk. I mean, I would swear under oath that I wasn't drunk.
Are you hurt by some of these things?
She got some nice eyelashes.
Absolutely not. No, I'm not hurt. That's my personality.
Now there is growing concern that last week's election hearing in Michigan may turn into a super spreader event after Rudy Giuliani was hospitalized with COVID-19. It was just...
So that was the year 2020. That was the year in review. I know, pretty skimpy. But tomorrow night we're doing a best of the Troll Patrol, best of the 2020. That will go more in depth into all the stories from throughout the year.